So it looks like the tides are turning at these university events with TPUSA, and it'll be very interesting to see if Turning Point keeps up with the turning of the tides. This latest university stop was with Glenn Beck, and have a listen here to what the students have to say and how he reacts. Very interesting. Have a listen.
Israel has an overwhelming lobby over the United States government, and we have unconditionally supported them. We have fought their wars in the Middle East. Bibi Netanyahu came to our Congress in the 90s, told us a list of countries that we need to take out. Some were Syria, Iraq, Iran, Libya, etc. Through those wars, we have lost trillions of dollars. We have lost American servicemen.
We're lobbying everybody else, and they will.
No one's clapping. No one's clapping. Charlie was starting to notice about the Israel lobby.
Could I answer my question? Could I answer the question, please?
You're talking about one thing they don't teach in school? They don't teach about the USS Liberty, where Israel literally came, blew up an American ship because they want us to get in their war with Egypt, and they don't teach that in school. I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your question.
I have a question. Why is there this societal taboo around criticisms of Israel? For example, AIPAC doesn't have to register as a foreign lobby, but like the Australia lobby does. And it just
that should be changed. That should be corrected. Look, I am not going to say Israel should have any special privileges. None.
It's like the animals have taken over the farm. The students are onto it, and I don't know if there's any turning back. It's almost like they've seen past the veil, and like there's no putting the rabbit back in the hat. They are so onto this whole AIPAC and the Israel thing, and these old oligarchs are they're just going to go by the wayside. And that's why I did a video the other day about the new right wing, like the Nick Fuentes of this world. They would answer that question extremely differently than the way Glenn Beck answered it. And it is true. I looked it up. The USS Liberty, they do not teach that in school. And I looked up why. And it is because they said that according to Israel, it was just a mistake. They just, it was all a mistake, our bad, sorry. But the captain of the USS Liberty was like, there's absolutely no way that could have been a mistake. They had American flags everywhere. It went on for just the duration of the whole attack. They would have known if it was an oopsie that, hey, we hit the wrong ship. They would have backed off, but they didn't back off. And one of the reasons that they don't teach it in school is because of that discrepancy. And one of the reasons I saw online too was that there's only so much curriculum that they can get through, and they just don't have time for that. And because there's been no concrete reason as to why it happened, they just kind of conveniently let that out. So that guy is 100% right. They do not teach that in school. So it is very interesting. But yeah, these old Israeli diehards, it's, if TPUSA keeps putting these guys out there, like I said, I don't know. Personally, I think they got to change their way. They have, like I said, 100% backed. I don't know about 100%, but probably 90% plus backed by the either not AIPAC, but of Israeli money and donations. I don't know how they survive, and they're not going to survive by keep pushing the same propaganda bullshit. And he goes on later in this video to talk about, and which I'm seeing as the new, instead of pro-Israel, they're anti-Islamic, any Islamic country, they're anti that. So it's almost like they're changing from the pro-Israel to the anti-Islamic thing. Because this pro-Israel thing, it's just died. It's dead on the horse right now. So have a listen here to Glenn Beck just profess his just love for Israel.
I don't know why I was born, but there is something about the state of Israel that connects deeply to me. To have the privilege to stand with the Jew is a tremendous honor, spiritually. So I want to read a letter that I wrote that I am sending to the state of Israel. to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the honorable officials at the State of Israel. In this moment, I have chosen to ask you for citizenship in the State of Israel. I have nothing to offer but my voice of support. And some might say that my support might be more valuable as an independent voice. Perhaps they're correct.
Yeah. And essentially, then go be a citizen of Israel and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, because you go over there and you say, "Yeah, I have an independent voice." Yeah, good luck having an independent voice over there in Israel. You're not gonna have that unless you are 100% pro whatever Israel has on the dockets, whatever they wanna do. You have no independent voice over there. They don't have the free speech that we have over here, so it's very interesting that they say these things. And Apex, and like I said, they have been changing their tune. They have been anti Islam, anything Islamic. Let's the fear mongering, the whole Qatar having their, learning how to fly the F-15s in Idaho. They're just the fear mongering. They're like, Qatar's in there. They're taking over your a whole military base, and it's not true. It's not true whatsoever. They are training, and they've been doing this for decades. They bought the F-15 planes, and they're learning to fly the planes on this base in Idaho. They're building their own structures. Like I said, my son's here in Goodyear, Arizona. In the Lufthansa, they're training out of his airport. We have Luke Air Force Base in Italy, Switzerland, Sweden. There's a bunch of them that are learning to fly planes out of Luke Air Force Base. So this is not a new thing, but it's just the fear mongering, which is so very disturbing. It's like they take. I think Alex Jones, he was talking about it today because this all came out, and the Laura Loomer's like, "Oh, we're all gonna die." Qatar's got military base in Idaho. We're all gonna die. It's all gonna go to hell in a handbasket, and I'm not even gonna vote in 2026. And then you start doing the research and you start looking into it, and you're like, well, that's not the case. And Pete Hegseth sent us something out today also saying, like, no, this has been going on forever. They literally bought the planes. They're gonna train the planes there, and they're paying for whatever they're doing over there, whatever base that whatever building they're putting there, or whatever, they're paying for it. It's not what they're portraying it to be. And again, they're also trying to say that APEC is an American lobbyist group, and it's for Americans by Americans. And it's not like, even if it is, but they're all for the benefit of Israel. That lobbyist group is not for the benefit of the Americans. And this guy, I found this video and he summed it up perfectly. If it was any other country and they were doing exactly what they're doing here, it would not fly. Have a listen here. This guy, like I said, he sums it up
Is trying to
personally.
rebrand now as an America First organization.
You may have heard our name, but how much do you really know about APAC? APAC is an American organization that works to strengthen the U.S.-Israel relationship.
Their new X banner says, funded by Americans, directed by Americans, strengthening alliance that benefits America. The reason APAC is pushing this is because they don't want to register as a foreign agent. Something one president, John F. Kennedy, fought very, very hard to make happen, but lucky for APAC, he was assassinated and that pressure was lifted. Keep in mind that APAC has an office in Jerusalem to have direct contact with Israeli officials. They really want to push the laughable argument that they don't need to register because they're funded by American citizens. Then let's go ahead and have some Chinese with American citizenship fund a lobbying group that benefits China, create an office in Shanghai so they have direct contact with Chinese officials. Let me know how long that will last before having to register with FARA. The ridiculous argument only flies because no president after John F. Kennedy tried to stop it.
And that's exactly it. And this is what I keep coming down to the flux of. And this is why Charlie Kirk was so passionate about hitting those young minds and these young men and women, is because, like, we can mold those, we can change them. But these young people, they're onto it. It's not letting it fly. We don't want APAC to control our politicians, our government, our country. And you know that APEX, the yearly APEX lobbying whatever conference that they have, it is the most attended by all the politicians in the US. The only other one that is as attended is the State of the Union address. It is the second largest attended by US politicians. So why is that? Why do they have so much control? They're literally the size of New Jersey. And like I said, these young boys, there are kids at any of all that younger generation. They're so onto it, and they're just not putting up with the bullshit anymore. It's now they're like their apex is like, "Oh no, we're America first," because that seems to be it's changed from "Make America Great Again" to "America First." And the APEC is more mega. They that you can see Trump's behind the 100%. But the America First is not buying the Apex bullshit. That's for sure. And have a listen here with Joe Rogan. And again, this is with a CIA guy. He's talking to someone in the CIA. Have a listen here what they have to say about it.
Israel's influence on American politics, because that's one of the things that's coming to light over the last couple of years since the invasion, where people are paying more and more attention to Israel, and then also seeing what happens when you criticize Israel.
I've never understood why AIPAC doesn't have to register as a foreign agent with the Justice Department when everybody else does. Why is AIPAC special that it doesn't have to register? If you're doing something, anything, on behalf of a foreign government, you have to register. Except if you're AIPAC. And I just don't understand that.
That seems so insane. And whenever you see like just dozens of senators and congresspeople going over to Israel, you're like, oh man, it's just crazy how much influence one country has.
Yeah.
Because I think we're all onto it now. I think we're all over it. And it will be very interesting to see how Turning Point USA changes I don't know if they change their business model, change their way of thinking, how they want to argue this point. And it will be very interesting to see if they survive without Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk was smart enough to feel that the tide was changing, and not just like what they wanted him to do is don't have Tucker Carlson on, don't have Candace Owens, no, we can't do anything, anybody that's anti-Israel, we're just going to call them anti-Semites and we want nothing to do with them. Well, that's not how the tide was flowing. Charlie Kirk saw that, and that's why he was trying to get ahead of it. And that's why he was having Dave Smith on, Megyn Kelly's, Tucker Carlson to have the conversation. He was all about having the conversation. And like he said, there's no one else, no other country you can say anything against without being just gone after, like, "Oh, you're an anti-Semite," with such a negative response by just even questioning what's going on. I think that is dead, and it will be very interesting to see how TPUSA deals with that. And I think also with TPUSA, the fact that they are not doing what Candace Owens is doing and searching for the truth, because as it comes out every week, every day, there's more and more that just proves that what the FBI is trying to shove down our throat is a bunch of bullshit, and it's just completely not believable. How are they not going, "Hey, our leader was just assassinated, public execution. I am gonna dig and find out what's going on." I think people smell a rat, and I don't know if they've had anything to do with it, but the fact that they are not like behind Candace Owens going, "Yeah, we need to figure out what's the truth. We need to find the truth here." So it will be very interesting to see. Like I said, I think people are smelling a rat, and it's just not making sense, and their reaction is just not making sense. And to go and also think, and it's almost like what the Democrats do. It's like, "Well, it's not working, but we still believe in our point," so they double down. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna double down, and having Glenn Beck of the world's on there, they're doubling down. And I know Nick Fuentes he wanted to debate Charlie Kirk, and I wish that would have happened, because it would have been very interesting to see someone who is now on the rise. So I saw a tweet by someone today saying, now that Charlie Kirk's gone, Nick Fuentes is going to be, potentially, for president one day. And that's scary, but like I said, my boys, that younger generation, they're all listening to him. They're all talking about him. They're not listening to Glenn Beck. And this is, I don't know, I think this clip has pretty much gone viral, but he looks like an idiot because it's like these kids are trying to say, like, "We don't buy your bullshit," and you just keep trying to shove it down our throat, and you can see how uncomfortable he was. He's taking off his jacket, he's sweating. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all pans out, but like I said, this younger generation buying the bull. The older generation, like the Joe Rogans of this world, are going, "How is this doesn't even make any sense. How is this even possible?" And I think we're all clued in on it. So anyways, guys, please like, subscribe, share it. Let me know your thoughts. What's going to happen to TPUSA? Are they going to change with the tide, or are they going to double down? Which will be very interesting. Again, please like, subscribe, share, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.